All right, welcome in. Good Sunday night podcast. John Middlecoff will be joining me in just about 15 minutes. Let's talk Lakers. They lose to Minnesota 116-113 in a spectacular game. You know, people complain about the NBA. Every arena packed. Intense, spectacular effort. Referees allowing them to play. The NBA is just fine. So Ant Edwards, I'm not sure if you knew this, led the NBA this year in clutch time scoring in the regular season, but Minnesota also played in 46 clutch time games. So what does that mean? They've been in so many games like this because they're such an effort, size, and defensive-led team. I mean, Ant's their one spectacular offensive player. Julius Randle, I think he's played well in the series, but he's not considered an A-list scorer, especially in his playoff history. So this is a team that has the best clutch player and is the team that was the best clutch team in the NBA. And by the way, when you lead a playoff series 3-1, you have a 95.5 chance of winning the series. So, and Minnesota's been a very good road team. We talked about this back in Los Angeles when the Lakers went down 1-0 to the T-Wolves. Lakers are not a good road team. And what I really noticed in this game is that basically J.J. Redick said, we're not playing until Wednesday. We're emptying the tank on our 5 starters. They put in what they call the death lineup, Dorian Finney-Smith. And Minnesota's got much more roster depth and versatility. The T-Wolves can throw different lineups at you and different matchups at you, whereas the Lakers have a really good starting 5, and they played them, and they didn't sit them. And I think JJ looked at it and said, guys, we're not going to get on a basketball floor until Wednesday. We're getting on that flight. We're going home, and we're taking 2.5 days off. I mean, they may have a shoot around, but in the end, he emptied the tank. And LeBron in year 22, you can't ask him to go to practice tomorrow, right, or the next day. So that was their strategy, and it almost worked. But I do think the Lakers need a real offseason to get the roster right. Remember, they were going to get Mark Williams in that trade, but they didn't get it. Right? The Lakers didn't make the Mark Williams trade because team doctors for the Lakers didn't pass it. And Carolina was upset, but the truth is it really hurt the Lakers. They could have used his size in this series. They could have used, again, the ability to do more things with their bigs. They're kind of trapped. You know, if you start looking around, Jackson Hayes, he's not playing. So J.J. Redick doesn't trust him. It's like Kerr not trusting Kuminga. What do you do? So Mark Williams would have been a huge asset here, a really good defensive stopper, a real physical presence, more than just a lob guy. And I think they need an offseason to get it done. You know, in terms of what the Lakers did, listen, Austin Reeves was a no-show in the first half, had a great third quarter. But, you know, I thought once LeBron made that incredible block and then Dorian Finney-Smith came down and hit the 3, I thought, wow, there's your game. But then the Lakers on the inbound, the ball gets stolen. And is that kind of a fatigue thing setting in? Possibly could be. Again, I think there's always I wouldn't call it an upset. I like the Lakers in 5 or 6 games. I think they still have a chance to win it, but they just don't have the roster versatility. And guys like Naz Reid are so good in the fourth quarter. He is one of those classic guys that everybody in the league knows how great he is, but he's not selling a lot of jerseys. He is such a valuable commodity. I mean, everybody in the league should have a Naz Reid. Every team in the league. And there, you think about that and you think, well, I mean, don't go crazy. But a lot of great players don't fit on all rosters. Like if you have LeBron James, especially in his prime, I mean, it drove Kyrie Irving crazy. It reduced Chris Bosh to a corner player. You had to run the ecosystem of the offense, had to go through LeBron. And it could marginalize certain players. But there are guys in this league that are effort guys, big basket guys, tough guys. They just fit everywhere. And Reed is one of those dudes. So a spectacular game for Ant. And again, talking about Mark Williams not being a Laker, look at the advantage, points in the paint. Minnesota 46-30, a 16-point edge in the paint. And there's your ball game. Just a spectacular, intense NBA basketball game. The NBA 82-game grind is done. Now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs. Love them. They're here. Time for drama, clutch moments, Steph Curry, LeBron, jaw-dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. They're the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Playing games all the way to the finals. Now's the time to back your favorite players and teams as they chase glory. So all season long, DraftKings has been the go-to spot for NBA player props. That doesn't stop now. If you want to make your playoff experience even more intense, try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30, 40, who knows, or more? It's your call. If you're ready to place your first bet, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Takes 90 seconds. Lock in your bets, and let's make the playoffs unforgettable. Here's something special for first-timers. DraftKings customers that are new, bet $5. That's it, $5, and get 200 in bonus bets instantly. Just make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download their Sportsbook app. Takes 90 seconds. The code's Colin, C-O-L-I-N. That is code Colin. New customers get $200 in bonus bets. Betting just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. And the other thing, when you make these big moves at the trade deadline, like the Luka trade, obviously long-term it benefits the Lakers more than Dallas. But it does feel like it's historically rare that you make like a trade deadline move, even a great one, and it equals a championship in year one. Remember, Luka had to play himself back into shape because he'd been injured. So Luka's playing himself back into shape. And I still think Luka's got another 10% of elevation to his game next year. And so you get an offseason, you tweak the roster, you get another big. Luka comes in good shape and not injured in camp, hopefully. LeBron feels like even if he loses 5% of his game, you can see LeBron can still give you these incredible, both his games in Minneapolis. LeBron can give you these unbelievable games. He's not going to give you 7 in a 7-game series, but everybody's equally rested in the playoffs. So Minnesota now looks to close it out. Boy, the Lakers had that 14-0 run to start the third quarter, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, all right, let's get serious. And then just chipping away, roster versatility, depth, and chipping away. All right, let's talk about the Knicks beating Detroit 94-93. I thought the Pistons were the better team, and I thought they should have won the game. That last call, the NBA now acknowledges it was a foul. Let me talk about this. If you look at the box score, it looks like Detroit won. The Knicks shot much better from three-point land. Other than that, field goal percentage, 43-37 Detroit. Free throw advantage. Detroit was great at the free throw line. The Knicks were 11 of 18. Detroit dominates defensive rebounding, but the Knicks had twice as many three-point shots. There's your ball game. Let me. Cade Cunningham, by the way, I'll say it again. He's going to be a top 8, top 10 player in the league next year. He got a great look to win that game. Ball bounced around, went to the corner, no foul called, but Cunningham got a great look. He can create his own shot. He doesn't need a pick and roll. Guy, good handles, big body, pro athlete, stop and start game, very fluid athlete. Cade's the real deal. Former number 1 pick out of Oklahoma State. He's put 3 and 4 years into the league, and you're seeing his game is now very, very refined. So in terms of the last call, it was a bump and a foul. So I'm a huge believer in letting the players play in the postseason. I think it's more intense. I think it's better for the fans. I think you're not going back and forth parading to the free throw line. I just think it's really intense physical basketball when LeBron and Ant are just banging on each other. It's just captivating. And this game, they allowed a lot of physicality because these are not necessarily beautiful offensive teams, right? Like Boston or Oklahoma City or Cleveland. The Knicks are a feisty physical team, and Detroit probably needs another player to get, a little more aesthetically pleasing offensively. So this is going to be a tug of war. The downside to allowing physical play has always been, one, it can create fights. You don't want that. But the real issue is, obviously the league, either through memo or through discussion, has told the guys, let them play, let the players decide the games. And it's much better basketball. This is why historically veteran NBA teams have done so well in the playoffs over younger teams. You're watching the Clippers and the Nuggets, which is an incredible series. It's just 10-year vets going back and forth, and they understand it. The issue becomes when you allow that sort of physical play, and I did think the Pistons outplayed them, and I'm not necessarily sure. Usually in a playoff series, you get to game 4 or 5, you kind of feel like there's a better team. I'm not sure. I think the Knicks are better. I don't feel like by much. Obviously that Cat 3-point bomb, Brunson hit a couple of huge clutch shots. That's the difference, a shot here or a shot there. The downside to allowing physical officiating is in the last minute and a half of a game. So, these psychologically, the refs are letting them go. But we do expect on final shots or the final 2 to 3 possessions, you got to tighten the belt a little bit. If a guy's brushing an elbow, fans are like, whoa, 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 that's a foul. So, the psychology of it is you're allowing for 3 hours this incredibly intense banging and physical play and letting stuff go all over the floor. But then what do you do in the last 2 to 3 possessions per team? It's like, hey, earlier in the game, it doesn't change the outcome. It just changes the score when you allow physicality. In the last 2 to 3 possessions, it can change the outcome of a game. And there's an expectation, you got to call that bump. So I don't think it's easy to officiate NBA playoff games in the last 2 minutes of a playoff game. I think it's like, you get to these NFL playoff games with pass interference. You go to a Super Bowl, they let a lot go. Very rarely will you see a lot of penalties in a Super Bowl or a conference championship. Let them play. But if you get to the final drive of a game in the Super Bowl or a conference championship and there's clear grabbing, do you let that go too? That's not just a call. That's an outcome changer. And so I think it's very difficult to officiate these games for the NBA in the last couple of minutes. And we've had multiple controversies in the Lakers-Minnesota game, the Clippers-Nuggets game, the Pistons-Knicks games, where you're like, are you going to call that? Are you going to call that? And so it was a missed officiating. It was an officiating gaffe. I think New York's going to close this series out, but you got to feel great if you're the Pistons. I mean, you got your superstar in Cade Cunningham. You got a couple of veterans. It's not the prettiest lineup, but they're well coached. They fight like hell. And it's been just so interesting to watch this series. I got to tell you, that Cat 3, one of the shots of the playoffs. I mean, Aaron Gordon's dunk to win it for the Nuggets, probably the shot of the playoffs. That Cat bomb, he's such a gifted offensive player and so limited defensively, and he's a quirky player. But, Rockets Warriors, Steph put on a classic, Jalen Green, Kate Van back down to earth. All these playoff games have been so fun. All right, let's get into John Middlecoff, former NFL scout, 3 and Outs, his podcast. Let's chop it up about the NFL draft. Sorry to interrupt this great video, but please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you. Now back to the video.